I didn't see you come in. Just sitting here, snuggled up by the fire, thinking, is this the warmest place in all of Ouachitalk Parish? Or have I finally slowed down for the holiday season?
Wait a minute, you slowing down? That really is a Christmas miracle.
Cut me some slack. We've been doing really good.
Yeah.
Just like Mitch and the boys at Open Heart Productions, spreading cheer and doing the good work.
That's right. And that's why we have them on the show that you guys are about to watch this evening.
So, snuggle up, settled in, grab something warm, and enjoy the show.
And
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hello, and welcome back to Ouachitalk. I'm Ben,
I am your local anti-Donnie.
and tonight we have Open Heart Productions.
Merry Christmas, f***os!
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. This is Mr. Daniel Stark, Mr. Mitch Lane, and Mr. James Hill, Drew Hill.
What's the mission behind Open Heart Productions?
Survive.
I like it.
Yeah, survive, and I think really the real earnest thing that we want to try to do is be an outlet for misfits at the end of the day. Like people that so many people in our company were people that just literally came up to us on the street and asked if they could be a part of it, and I'd be like, well, do you know anything? No. Well, what can you do? I can learn. Right. Can you show up at this day at this time? And most of the time, if I tell you show up on this day at this time and you show up, you're in. You're there.
Right.
There's a few that don't.
Yeah, a lot of people don't show up, but it's the ones that do show up that you're like, okay, I don't care if you don't know anything. I don't care. You're passionate and you're here. Right. So let's do it.
I've often heard you refer to your cast and crew as Misfit Toys.
Yes.
I love that. That's a really cool moniker for them.
It's a collective of sorts of collaboration. I think a collaboration collective.
Yeah.
Musicians, artists. I mean, just everybody. All of us has got one certain talent that we do and we bring to the table. So
Yeah.
I've always been a firm believer in having a solid network. I mean, if you can establish with whatever art you're doing, if you can establish a solid network, I mean, you're only as good as those working around you at the end of the day.
I worked in the indie film landscape for 10 years before we did Open Heart Productions, for real. And my first 10 years in the film business, I thought I had this stupid misconception that if I worked really hard, then somebody above me would look down, notice me, and then grab me and pull me up with them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then it took me 10 years to realize that that's not the way this works.
Right.
And since nobody's gonna pull me up, how do I get up there? Well, zombie style. You just find a bunch of zombies just like yourself, and you pile them all up on top of each other until you get to the next level.
Right.
And then you can pull them up to you, and that's what we've consistently been doing.
Yeah. So where does the Stark lens fit into Open Heart Productions?
It's a collaboration. So when we started all this with, I guess, Unknown Strangers around that time, he had already had Open Heart, LLC Productions going, and I needed a way to represent, I guess, the cinematography component of because we already knew when we were doing Unknown Strangers that we were going to do Bogman, and I kind of say, if I say that I say we already knew that we were going to do Sea of Madness, even though we didn't.
Yeah.
But we did.
But you did.
We knew we were going to do something
Right.
after Bogman.
It was just a way to represent me in the collaboration and to, because it was something I was wanting to start anyway. And so it's a moniker, but now it's taken shape as well as far as some of the things behind the scenes and stuff. And it's just potentially down the line, after we're maybe done with the BCU or maybe before, I plan on doing at least one before, but we're going to do a Western. And it's going to be a Stark lens
production
with Open Heart.
Yeah.
They're just going to be kind of reversed as far as the presentation of it. But
Nice.
it's going to be the same
Yeah.
thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's not a monster thing. It's a gritty, kind of like the Hatfields, McCoys kind of thing.
Okay.
And I want to do some stuff like that. And Mitch has a wrestling, tornado wrestling, which we would have done by now, but we're going to do that too eventually.
Yes.
And it actually could spurn on other things from its universe, or it could be tweaked in different ways. That's one thing with a lot of these ideas, is trying to find, it's like a puzzle,
Yeah.
you know, and oftentimes you'll find a piece and you're like, I'm sure that's the one, you know, and you put it there and you're like, oh, where'd that little lip thing come from? Like, I ain't seen nothing like that.
Crap.
Nobody's ever seen it.
Well, since I've known you, it's over 15 years now. You've been the quiet guy in the back, making moves, and so the Stark lens is your way of having your name on it too.
Right. It's something that down the line, hopefully, we'll incorporate in some other aspects of different genre kind of approach things or something. It's still going to be, you know, I was just talking to Kyle today, and I love my job. I love where it's gotten me and everything, but I'm so really disenchanted with commercials and advertising. So having this outlet with what we've been able to build and stuff it's a lifeline to me, not just in the nature of, oh yeah, we might make something, or oh yeah, you can see stuff on streaming services. It's a
personal
meeting people
thing.
and experiencing things. I mean, we're forever friends with the people that run the USS Kidd, you know,
And the Chennault
Destroyer
Aviation Museum.
and stuff, and it's just good keeping up with those guys. Who, by the way, that ship's almost about done.
almost
now.
back,
coming
yeah.
Nice.
It looks beautiful too. It's got the new dazzle.
But we were the last ones on it in its original form.
Just having experiences and getting where we're going. It's a journey. Life's a garden. Dig it. You know.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
you know,
sure.
It's you want to take that, and we're grateful and thankful, and it's fun. You know. And one thing is, we want to show people in a way. Not necessarily in an inviting way. Not even if you don't come, you know, work with us in any way or collaborate with us in any way.
But if you're just
If you're doing stuff
inspired
on your
to
own,
do something
you know,
off of it.
Yeah,
do it.
we're thumbs up for that.
Yeah,
too,
life's
you
too
know.
short not to. For
Sure.
I had somebody write a diss track about me not too long ago. I'm not gonna say who it was or what the song's about or anything, but I remember somebody came up to me and was like, "Does that piss you off that there's a diss track about you?" I'm like, "Actually, no."
How long was it?
It shouldn't.
How long? My thing was like, if something that I did inspired you to get off your couch and go make something and put it out into the world, what, you know, whether that inspiration was hatred or passion, I don't care. Like,
Still creative energy.
Kind of feeding off what you said, you know, musically, I've always been the kind of guy that I get hyper fixated on one project. I get, you know, right into it. But I have so many different things going on inside that I want to put some energy to this, and I got to do bass here, play banjo here.
Yeah.
You know, I cannot focus on just one. So I really can relate to that, man.
Yeah.
You know, saying, okay, you know, the commercial world, it's great, but
it pays the bills.
it's not
Yeah,
enough.
it's
not
that.
enough artistically.
Well, it's not that I don't like it in any nature. It's just I feel a change is coming.
Yeah.
And I've been there about 10 years now. I'm grateful for that, and always, you know, don't have any idea. Even if something did happen, I'll probably still have to work. So I'm gonna, you know, keep maintaining it. Still, I just did one the other day with some talking Christmas trees for the First West thrift store, and this thing's hilarious, man. I mean, they're just like sitting there. Kyle worked really hard on it with the animations and the faces and stuff, but.
That's really cool.
And we're talking about doing one for Mary's Candles possibly one day with some talking candles.
Mm.
You know, just getting out a little fun with it.
So we should do commercials for the podcast with talking microphones.
There you go. There you go.
So you're inspiring us already.
They put little arms on them with cartoons and stuff. Yeah.
Why not?
There's a YouTube
Let it
guy.
run around to
or
each person when they're talking.
it's like an Instagram guy or something. He does
Right.
stuff like that with drawings and stuff. It's pretty fun. But, you know, we can push the limit with it, and it's something to where I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for it. So it's funny when you get older, you realize the turns and the roads that connected to get you to where you are in different ways, good or bad. You know, I'm a firm believer that pretty much everything in your life you bring on yourself.
Yeah.
Good or
Yeah.
bad.
Good or bad.
It's all you're choosing and you're doing. You're just unaware.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we want to collaborate and stuff, and we've gotten the benefit and the luxury of getting to fulfill a distributor's order, basically for films, you know, in a certain genre for now. But we're building a good
Solid base.
solid base and a good firm foundation and trust with them so far. They've really been good to us, and we're excited to see what the next 5 will bring and beyond. You know?
Yeah.
Nice.
So how do you guys stretch a small budget into something cinematic?
That's the question.
Yeah, well, I think the thing that helps us is the fact that we've never had a budget. And
really, no.
and whenever you've never had a budget, you get used to that, you know. Me and Daniel were talking about this the other day because I did some research and I looked some stuff up and looked up things on other production companies. And in the history of film, Open Heart Productions does stand alone because there has not been a single production company in the history of filmmaking that has been able to make 6 movies in 4 years with $37,000. If you combined all of our movies up,
Yeah.
about $40,000, 7 movies, 6 movies.
Who determines budget? What determines budget?
The universe.
Yeah,
I mean, the actors.
Well,
we got some paid actors that we have to pay.
The
so
way we
Yeah.
started
we have
out,
to do
really, we had the luxury of not necessarily having a full budget, but Chris, the individual that started with Unknown Strangers, that brought me into the fold as far as that goes. They had done some things before, and I'd helped out with Near to Wells a little bit and a few other things here and there. And so he had a budget set aside for that, so we were able to complete that and learned a lot of lessons from that whole process. And so Bogman came around. Mitch had some investors lined up, and some of those fell through, but some of them remained. And it really, what it gets down to is you don't look for the money until somebody's like, "Hey, I need money."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because what we're doing for the most part, we're writing stories and in ways that we know we can shoot them.
Yeah.
So in locations that we know we can get.
And sometimes things that we like, how are we going to like, all right, because like Bogman was a very like practical, we can do this with all of our homies out in the woods. We don't have to pay any actors. Really, the money that we spent on the making of Bogman was like costumes, like the sheriff outfits, the Bogman suit, like props, you know, like small things. Beer money for the set, that's, you know, pretty big.
And it was a collective kind of thing.
But we
for that,
improvise
But
a lot.
there's times,
So,
somebody
get
have to
what
run up to the gas station to get some fishing line or
Yeah.
something like that, or go get some spray paint or something like that.
But then, like,
Springfield.
Bogman was this very easily attainable script that we could do any day, any year, over and over and over again. And then the next script I bring to Daniel is, okay, so this next one takes place completely on a battleship.
There's a certain point after you've known somebody so many years, the phrase "you're crazy,"
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's like, especially when you're saying this and then it's happening, and then afterwards you're like, all right, what's the next one?
What's the next crazy thing?
What else you got?
Can we get crazier?
Because
Yeah.
that was really my, I guess, point of no return to where it was like, if we can pull this off,
What can't we do?
we'll be able to finish this.
Yeah.
Because it was only the second movie, and so
Second of 10.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
but that was such a honorable, miserable,
It's the most-
fantastically delightful,
Most miserable
experience.
fun we've ever had.
As far as collectively, a lot of, I was talking to Kyle today about that as well. Just finishing stuff is something that I find affects a lot of creators of any kind of medium.
Yeah.
And that's something that you got to pat yourself on the back a little bit when you finish something, good or bad, negative or positive, in the time that you had with the money and the people and the focus that you had, you completed that mission. And that's something about what we're doing as far as we've kind of accelerated the rate of these that we originally planned on. So now we're always in some form of production, but oftentimes you're in a foot, like right now, we're a foot in post-production, the wrap-up of the Bog Anthology, and still really with the rake investigation, and in the pre-parts of the Bog Anthology, and in the very early parts of Honey Hole. Right. So, and then in the early parts.
Like, we've already got principal photography for Honey Hole done, but we still got to go back and shoot the beginning and the end, a couple of other scenes. And
Richard's sending me pictures of what they're designing for the Chupacabra, which is 2 movies away from that.
yeah,
So we're always in some form of it, but it's at first it was kind of rattling, but now I'm starting to understand and get a grasp of it to where, and I love it in a way because it's taught me one thing as a wannabe filmmaker kind of thing. It's taught me
you're not a wannabe anymore, dog.
No, brother, you're in there.
Yeah, you're in there.
You're for real filmmaker now.
you want so much to always go back and be like,
That's
Oh,
right.
if I could just tweak this
Yeah.
color, or tweak this this
I can
audio.
see that, but
I
now it's like I don't even have time to think about it anymore because once it's delivered to Green Apple and we've decided and that's that,
You have to walk away.
you already have like
Mentally, we've already moved on from this movie a week and a half ago. Like we're already.
I admire the process because as a musician, when I'm in the studio and I'm working on a song, it's like I'm in this moment. I have to do it today. Tomorrow will bring other things into my world, into my landscape that'll come to my island, and it'll be a problem, and it won't sound the same as it did today. You guys painstakingly have to go through months, a year, to capture a vision that came well before it and ongoingly through. Aside from deliverables, what is one of the toughest production challenges you face?
Okay, well, all right. I thought about this and he sent it to me, and I wish that there was just something that I could be like, this is the most difficult part. Because if I could point to that, then that means that I can prepare for that and I would know that it's coming. But the most difficult part about all of these film productions is that you really never know what problem is going to happen until you get there. And I think that is probably the most difficult thing is every shoot there is something.
you can
different.
anticipate.
Yeah.
I anticipate since unknown strangers and into the bog creature universe and stuff. I anticipate, but oftentimes I will see at the end of the shoot there's stuff in my truck that I brought for a certain purpose that just may have happened before, but this suit never happened.
Never happened.
Never happen again. Yeah,
And it just
But
took up space there, and I
But
was
you're
just like,
prepared.
Yes.
right.
But you've learned.
And that's the one that like I tell other filmmakers all the time when they talk about pre-production. I say pre-production is very important and unimportant because you have to plan, you have to prepare, you have to know everything inside and out. You have to have a plan A, a plan B, and a ripcord plan. But whenever you show up on set, expect for none of that shit to matter.
Right. It's just
But you just gotta hope that you're as familiar with the material as you can be and aware of your surroundings enough to pick out what you need to do to fix whatever problem you have.
and it's just a concession game.
And I've only been doing this with them for a little over a year, and I've seen some pretty crazy.
I imagine so. I imagine so.
It's like, but how?
Right.
With that being said, which scene out of everything y'all done so far was the hardest to pull off? One scene.
I got one for this. It was only because it took us so much time to do it and we had to come back a month later to finish it, was the last fight scene on the Sea of Madness movie at the very end with all the mermaids and the first time that we went out there, the first
Yeah,
week,
because that essentially was just going back for like
Just that.
two scenes
Yeah.
or something like that.
the first week that we were there, we were on the ship all week, and we were on the last day. Now this is in January, all right. So, and this was January that the big ice storm hit in 24, and so we were already freezing cold the entire shoot. But then that last day, we had to get that fight scene on the deck. Now our mermaid, Red. She basically was wearing nothing but a silk fin and some body paint and some nipple covers.
Some latex
Pasties.
Yeah. And it's 20 degrees out there with light precipitation. And we had the time. We could have gone out there and filmed the whole scene right then and there if we wanted to. And I was contemplating it until the makeup lady came up to me and said, "Oh yeah, by the way, Red said she's anemic." And I'm like,
Oh, geez.
well, then we're not filming this scene then. She's going to kill, because I know Red. Red will just go out there. She won't care. She'll be like, "Oh, I got this, baby. I got this." And she'd get out there and kill herself.
I don't even know she's sick.
Right. No, that's
Like, why
that's
didn't you say
extreme.
something?
man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's anything. Yeah, that there's other stuff that comes close as far as like dealing with like costume or stuff, but really, you don't. I think the wherewithal and the awareness of trying to develop your problem solving skills in general is so much more important than any one single issue that you might face.
And not
Because
only
it teaches you kind of what I call the Kenny Rogers thought process. You got to know when to hold them,
Know when to fold 'em. Yeah.
and know when it's a lot of people say juice is worth the squeeze kind of thing and stuff, and that's another form of it. But you got to know, because otherwise you won't finish.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it
that's
teaches
the
you
goal.
communication. It teaches you how to communicate with all different types of people because everybody is different. That was another thing that I had a hard time with in the beginning. It took me the first year and a half to learn this lesson that not everybody is me. So I need to stop holding. I need to stop holding everybody else to the same standards that I hold myself, because that's an impossible standard. You know, I'm like, what do you mean you haven't finished it? You've had 48 hours. I would have already
I've done
finished
it
this.
twice.
Yeah. Like,
So circling back to the beginning here, what all inspired the Bog Creature universe, and when did you guys realize that it was all interconnected and it was a whole universe of opportunity?
from the very beginning, pretty much.
Yeah, there's always kind of going back to what I was saying earlier about we did Unknown Strangers, and we were talking about Bogman at times while shooting that, and he had shown me the script, and that was kind of the plan, and I was interested in it, so we were like, okay, so there's stuff there. A lot of all this, honestly, is just serendipitous nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things that you could say we planned, and we did, but they kind of they were discovered, in a sense, rather than straight up just like, manifestations or anything like
Kind of
that.
meant to happen.
Like,
It just things fell into place. His lore and love of a Bigfoot movie is what started the whole thing initially.
Right.
The connection with all that, and Jonathan Tripp with Sea of Madness is what kind of connected his book, Sea of Madness, is what connected adding that to the universe. And
Right,
then the great nature of being able to receive a distribution deal from a company that wants more.
Right.
And so there's a conversation he had with Roxanne, I believe, at one point, or told somebody up there, it's like, well, we got 10.
yeah, that was it was,
After Bogman had just got picked up, and we were like, we got,
whenever
10? Yeah, sure.
Open Heart Productions, the movie thing side of it almost kind of started out as just kind of like a little club, where like me and Daniel and a few other folks, we'd talk about movies, and then we wanted to make a movie, and then once we did Unknown, and like we knew that we were just going to keep like I remember telling Daniel, it's like, you just want to just do this like once a year, like just get together and spend like 3 or 4 weekends just doing one of these. He's like, yeah, that'd be cool. So we knew we were going to do Bogman, and because we already had that mindset, I knew we were going to do Sea of Madness. But the thing was, is I figured, you know, timetable wise, I figured, all right, we'll do Bogman, and then like 4 or 5 years, an opportunity will arise, and we'll be able to do Sea of Madness. So it wasn't like we were, you know, had a board and we're like connecting the dots and everything.
We should get one of those, though.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, oh, it'd be cool if we could do this. It'd be cool if we can do this. And then whenever Bogman got signed, the vice president was talking to me and was saying that, you know, they have all these different areas of their company and they, you know, got all this stuff built up. They don't have a whole lot of horror stuff. And they wanted to build a horror franchise with multiple sequels. It's like, so do y'all have any more ideas for any more sequels? And I knew we had Sea of Madness. And I also knew us that coming up with some stuff ain't going to be
Not gonna be a
difficult. So
problem.
I just literally blurted out the first number in my head. It's like, yeah, we got 10 of them, baby. And they were like, we want them. We want all 10.
Hey, what a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
What a blessing.
that's one thing that motivates. I mean, us for sure, but what I revel in with a lot of this is the getting to work and meet with people that want to be a part or have great ideas and want to share or want to take part and stuff or want to act or want to, you know, learn how to do sound or want an opportunity to run a camera or something like that. When that's the connection, you know. So by them giving us this or allowing us, we basically, I guess, we had a couple other offers, but theirs was a little bit touch above kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Mainly because the merchandising.
it's given a lot of motivation to not just us, but to our crew, our potential crew, to
Our friends, our loved
people
ones.
that for Face the Music, I just collected a group of mostly no people that don't act at all, and just like, you want to be in a movie? You know, it's a short. It's just meant to introduce this gin for the next future. It's meant to have like a little Scooby Doo kind of story to it.
Goosebumps. Yes.
And so we got, you know, people in there that, you know, for now on, they'll just be, hey, I'm in a movie on Tubi. You know?
That's right. That's really impressive.
I think that's
it's
pretty
very
cool.
impressive.
And then on the flip side of that is whenever we have people from the actual industry that have been around the big guys and the big names, and whenever they come and work on set, and then they come up to us afterwards and was like, this was actually the best set that I've ever been on. Like,
We've gotten a lot of
cool.
compliments here lately from, you know, well successful actors that are in
Picture
stuff
me, Jason Kirkpatrick.
that really mean the world to us. Just simply because you don't think about that when you're in the middle of the whatever you're
chaos,
doing.
the parade of chaos.
It's like, you know, it's equivalent to somebody. It's a professional compliment. More, you know,
Yeah.
It's a treasure.
Because
Yeah.
this
It's
guy's
a great
been around,
candidate.
he's seen stuff, especially as far as our writing. You know, a lot of our writing is we have our own temperature, our own.
Our way of doing things.
You track it.
texture.
You track it to based on your heartbeat, not
And the writing and
anyone else.
the shots and the gore and the language at times and the comedy and stuff, or the physical comedy that we kind of lay into. It's almost got a vaudeville kind of quality that we kind of recognize.
Yeah.
And I've had people like Hick and others say things like, you know, yeah, this is something that it's like one of those, what did he say? It was something like that line from Back to the Future where you might not understand it, but your kids are going to love it.
Yeah.
It was something along those lines, and I was like, yeah.
So what inspired Honey Hole? A necessity or
You know, Honey Hole and Face the Music were both written by Daniel.
nice?
So
They were both kind of necessity. He had already wrote, this guy's a writing machine. Like, actually, there's probably typewriters that are somewhere in a pawn shop or a collection somewhere going, man, I wish I had that Mitch Lang. I mean, that one time I heard stories about that dude, man. You know? And typewriter's like, yeah, he typed on me one time in 5th grade, you know? Yeah, because this guy's just like a writing. He'll say something one day and like 12 hours later be like, here's the script read. What?
Nice.
Did you go back in time? Or something?
Life's too short not to pump
So
it.
he had Bogman done pretty much while we were shooting Unknown. I think it was pretty much done. Him and Chris. So Sea of Madness, he jumped on that.
While we're doing post production.
Yeah, and that's based off a book by Jonathan Tripp. So
Yeah.
he read that, and I talked to him, and they worked it out. And so he tweaked it here and there and made it, Sea of Madness. And then the Rake investigation was part of the Bog anthology originally. But he wrote that and the Bog Manifest, and which some of these end up being, written by ideas developed.
Story by
Stuff like that. But we wear a lot of hats, and we don't really worry too much about titles. You know?
Here's a great example. The Alien script.
Right,
All right.
right, yeah.
So the Alien script, I finished it a couple of months back. But whenever Green Apple said I told them we wanted 10. Like within the first month, we had sat down and written out. All right, this movie is gonna like 1, 2, 3, 4. We had the movies mapped out. We're gonna do this monster here, this monster here. Like we went down the line.
Nice.
And the Alien script was always going to be like the 5th or 6th movie. It was always going to be later on down the line. So since it was so far in the future, Kyle started working on the script originally.
And he had, similar to how Honey Hole developed, he had already had a similar-esque idea that was already an alien-based story. Just as mine with Honey Hole, I had already, I have the Honey Hole has a whole kind of trilogy before it that focuses on the treasure. But just like that, it worked out to where it was like, when we were making that list, and he showed it to me at different times, and he had already had several of them worked out. And one of our things is we're both werewolf people.
Right.
A huge werewolf fan. That's my that's my opus. So when we first started doing this, we were like, we're going to save that.
Yeah, let's save werewolf.
Until we can actually, until we're
Do
going
it
to pick
justice.
monsters that are just like kind of Bigfoot, cryptid, off the wall, evil that's out there that you hadn't seen a lot in even indie films,
Right.
And so we started going, and I had this idea about a djinn that was free of his lamp and was living like a human.
Ooh.
And that's basically what Honey Hole is. And so, like
we
Nick
tweaked
said,
it. We tweaked it to where he's not free of the lamp. He's just using souls of humans that he traps in the lake
stay out of it.
to stay further and further away from it.
It's a internal kind of curse thing, but it's drawn up to where I had that kind of idea, and he was like, "Well, that's a good, villain in that sense. That's something that could fill one of those voids that we had as far as our lineup." And it just fell into place as far as, he was like, "Well, write it." So I jumped on that. And it was already kind of, there was 2 ideas that kind of mashed up together with the VCU that made it what it was. But then Face the Music ended up needing to be done because of the anthology movie that we did before that, which is 3 short stories, basically, or more in one movie. And he had already done Bog Manifest and The Rake. And after The Rake ended up being its own feature, which I'm so really thankful for that, because that helped us in so many ways. And it taught us a lot, too.
Yeah.
It taught us
Put us a movie ahead.
But as a movie ahead of schedule.
it helps
clever.
the motivation
Clever.
factor of what you're doing, especially when the distribution company's like, "Yeah, sure," and you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, great."
Yeah, let's go.
So he shuffled things around, and he also wrote the Aliens Are Among Us thing in there, and
As a way to lead into the Alien script, because all right, so the Alien script was a freaking right, because it started out. Kyle wrote the first 20 pages, and you got to think we're talking about this in 2023 was when the opus of all these ideas of the movie started in 23. So like by this year 25, in those, you see how fast our rate of getting things done, our thought process is even faster.
Yeah.
So like this year, like between the 20 pages that Kyle had written, and it seemed like every single day I came into the office, y'all had a different idea about the Alien script. And like, and we can do this, and then we can add this, and at some point in time we can do this. And I was like, yeah, but has anybody tried to put this together though? Like, these are a lot of ideas.
This is a really cool Rubik's Cube.
We've got to like. So I was like, Kyle, are you about to do that? And he's like, I'm busy on this. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And that was the one script that I was very like intimidated by to write, and it felt like I just remember sitting there like with like Kyle's 20 pages and like 3 pages of handwritten idea notes that I'd gathered throughout the few years. I'm like, how do I do this? How do I make this a thing? And then like 2 weeks later I was done, and I honestly think it's probably the best script that I've ever written.
Some really good connections. And
it felt more like an Indiana Jones movie than a.
Is there ever a plan for the unknown strangers to come back into this circle?
No.
Start fleshing that out. We're just pushing forward.
we have some that probably won't happen,
No.
but we have some thoughts about scenarios.
Oh, we
That's all.
yeah, and it actually probably will get connected in the Alien
that's
movie.
That's what I'm digging for right there. I want to know,
Yeah.
is
It'll
there going to be a connection to make this whole universe fun?
If we were able to gather our proposition, I guess, or proposal, and share it, and if it was great, then I would like to think that there would be a good reception for it, because it's a really great idea to the whole thing. But if not, that's always going to be, in my mind, what it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because
of course.
and I've talked with Chris years, not recently, but I've always told him that down the road I would like to revisit that in an edit, and he's let me know that would be fine, but I don't know that it would be connected with the BCU in that manner.
Mitch's
But
character,
if it could, it
I'm
would be
digging.
awesome.
I dig your character in that. I truly do.
I learned a whole hell of a lot trying to do that.
One thing that we learned about was lighting.
Lighting, just every aspect. It's a lot of what you guys do. You guys are musicians, so y'all understand. And most people that do anything, even if you rake leaves with a little bit of flair, then you'll get what I'm saying. But a lot of times it's not what you know, it's what you do when you're on the spot, when you're there, after you've had so many repetitions
It's that
of doing
fight or
it,
flight moment
to where it's
right.
almost it's instinctual at that point, and a lot of instinctual things came through that experience, as far as trying to get it off the ground and move on. And now here we are, stepping 5 films deep into 6 films deep into
amazing.
the whole. There's always a second. And even with playing with Richard and stuff like that, there's always a second where we're out in the woods somewhere on set, and it's like, oh yeah, like that time on Bogman. Oh yeah, like that time in Sea of Madness.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
remember the time, we were doing the rake and that guy fell through the tarp in the hole, and there's always those kind of things and those connections that you're like.
And there's always a moment where me and Daniel are standing beside each other where we'll just look at each other on every shoot and goes, I can't believe we're here doing this right
Yeah,
now, man.
it's like-
Like,
It's surreal,
I
right?
can't believe
Yeah.
this is our life,
Yeah. I'm very proud of it, man. You guys have been killing it. It's
And
really
you guys see what you can do to get involved with these guys. Maybe be extras. Anything you can do for Open Heart Productions, just be aware of what all they're doing right here in Ouachitalk Parish.
We like to represent.
And you
the
can
area.
watch the movies on streaming services in your very own living room right now. Tubi, Amazon Prime, YouTube, Folsom TV, the CW app, Fandango.
That's
What
just
else are you
amazing.
going to do? What else are you going to watch?
Yeah. So Drew, do you prefer being behind the mic or being on the set, or is there a?
I'd rather be behind the mic. Well, not behind the mic, but in the background, honestly.
In the background?
It's
On the
nerve wracking.
set?
I've been a musician for 20 years, and
Right.
I'm still nervous when I get up on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you never get rid of that.
I don't think
you
there's one
never
thing
get
that
rid of
this
that
guy
nervousness.
hasn't it just been asked to do, and some of the stuff's pretty, massive,
Yeah.
especially when it's just laid on you. To be like, yeah, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And
Love that
and not
attitude.
just do it, but like
Excel in it.
at
Yeah,
it,
do it
and
well.
just get well.
Like the social media thing, like him being
Oh,
the
yeah.
social media director,
Oh,
just
yeah.
that was just kind of like we needed someone to do it. Can you do that? He's like, I've never done it before, but I can figure it out.
Well, you're rocking out the social media thing.
So with that, is that what in hand also inspired the podcast?
No, actually, that's something that Daniel and them have been talking about forever, doing like a podcast.
every day
or
on the
something.
set of something, somebody would talk about, you guys should do a podcast.
Right.
We have a lot of that when we first got started doing stuff, which is great. Don't get me wrong, I'm not judging it at any level, but we had a lot of like, y'all should do this, or you should do this, and I'm like, those are all great ideas. Right now we're
busy.
We're doing this.
Yeah.
It's hard to do anything
But we
else.
were actually sitting on Mitch's porch one day, and I was like, dude, why don't we just do the podcast? He's like, you want to do it right now? I was like, yeah, fuck it. Because I already had the setup at my house, so we went there and we did our first episode.
I mean, y'all have
Yeah.
seen that too. Like whenever y'all first came to me about the podcast, if somebody comes to me and says they want to do something, all right, we want to do it. How about right now?
Yeah,
what are
yeah,
you doing
let's
right
do it.
this moment?
And
We
we
did
will.
that exact thing.
Yeah.
We're like,
That's a good
we
step.
got stuff to do. You're like, dude, it takes 3 minutes.
Right.
Sit down, Yeah,
Time like
no,
a
that's
pro.
cool.
That's what
beautiful.
really got. That's a good little kind of rule with us too, as far as like, how we managed to get these done and delivered and moving on and building this universe is just do it. There's been times, where we're like we thought we were done with stuff and get a call or call him and call Richard and be like, all right, within 12 hours you're out in the woods shooting something else that you're like
Completely forgot about this.
and there's some scenes that we've been able to put into the last group of movies that I think in my mind they up the game of the story, and they're really brief little shots. You know?
Yeah.
And just being able to get those, but sometimes it takes a lot of work to get those, and sometimes it's like, so glad we put the effort into doing that, as far as the final product goes. So,
And then you also think, we did also come out here to spend all day to get 3 shots. It's, that's sometimes the reality of it.
Yeah, but also going back to the podcast, we had all talked about doing like a behind the scenes documentary type thing, to like show what we did and all that, which we still plan on doing that at some point. But the podcast is the best way to get our stories out there about the movies and what we do.
I like the way y'all started it too, with the early beginnings and stuff. I love that. It's
Yeah.
like a narrative.
Do you
telling.
feel like the podcast has brought a resurgence of interest into the movies and into this
I
world?
think so. I think so.
I agree.
I think it all helps.
For
I
sure.
think it all is, part of the reason that we never, like as people say, man, Mitch, y'all never stop.
Right.
And it's like, well, yeah, because as musicians or any kind of artist, y'all understand that it takes a lot of effort to get any kind of momentum moving.
Oh yeah.
And once that momentum is moving, no matter how fast it rolls, you have to keep up with it, because if you're like, oh, I can't take this anymore, it's going too fast, I got to slow it down and stop it, we'll get it back going again. No, you won't. No, you won't.
You won't.
This-
Back to this plate spinner over there.
Yeah, the second that you get in front of that ball and try to slow it down because you're tired,
it's done.
Yeah.
But as far as the podcast, they gave me the motivation for that.
So,
I'll give them the credit for that for sure.
So how do you decide what tidbits of behind the scenes to share in the public eye?
I mean, it's just like when we're on set and we're taking pictures, there's certain things that we can't show just because it would give too much away.
Right.
But actually, Mitch had a lot of the podcast episodes already mapped out, so
Yeah.
we kind of knew where we were going. So I kind of, there were some movies I hadn't even seen yet that they had done, so I had to go back
Right.
and watch
Do the homework.
just to make sure what was going
That's
on
right.
before we got
That's
the
right.
podcast.
Do
you
the
know.
research. But
What's your most impactful episode of the podcast thus far, in your mind?
Definitely the one with the cast of Nerd Wells with Bobby. Bobby is a character. Bobby is something else,
I
dude.
laughed so hard at
Every
that.
time you talk to this dude, it's something different.
Yeah.
He's just like a whole storyteller.
Hey man, what's here right now?
Right.
Nice.
You gotta love it.
Yeah.
I do love that dude so much.
It's
He can be a pain in the
You
ass.
gotta take him in doses
He can be a pain in the
sometimes,
ass.
but I love him to
He's got a
death.
heart the size of Texas, it seems.
Because he's
just
one of those
always
dudes. He
willing to
just
do
does stuff. He don't think about it. He just does it.
It's like
He
no
like,
filter.
like yeah, the mouth and everything. Like
Pretty dang
because
good
we have to
actor,
check him
too.
all the time. Like,
Yeah.
And you know, something I learned is he wasn't an actor until you got a hold of him.
Yeah.
And you know, threw him out there to it, and
To the wolves.
and he's in his habitat at that point.
Yeah.
We could probably do a whole podcast just on Bob.
The legend of Bobby
You
Bench.
should, you know?
Just talking about Bobby's story.
So if you guys budget quadrupled or more right now, what would be your first move as Open Heart?
Fire and a lot of art and stuff of that nature and getting
Finish the series.
Finish the series.
That's
doing it at the same pace but with a more
comfort.
Yeah.
with these what we're doing, it's the nature of the like I said kind of earlier, we have the acting that's engaged, even with some of these newcomers that are seasoned actors and stuff. They're fitting into the texture in that way. Even Hick, when I was talking to him, he was asking how Amos and Honey Hole should be played, and so we were talking and stuff, and I was like, "This is pretty much you." He was like, "Yeah, it's pretty much me by reading it." And I was like, "Just flare it up a little bit and points here and there, and lean into it. And if you feel a little campy, then that's good, because that's kind of what we're going."
So
in the
sometimes when you're writing, when you're thinking about your casting, or you're thinking about a character, sometimes it's inspired by the person that you're thinking of, right?
Oftentimes.
Mm-hmm. Most times, actually, right? So I find something genuine about that, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And there are characters that whenever I write them, I do have specific people in mind to play them.
Yeah.
But I also like for instance, whenever I wrote the original Bogman script, Marcus Allen, the guy that played Mayor Rafferty,
Oh yeah.
he was whenever I wrote that script, I actually was writing that script with him playing the character of Dave.
Yeah, and I was supposed to be Rafferty.
Yeah, you were supposed to be the mayor, and but it just
Dodged a bullet there.
yeah. But
I enjoyed
Actually,
that.
every
These
character, I
dudes-
will say this,
Every character I write has a little bit of Marcus in it.
yeah,
Marcus Allen is
Something
Yeah.
I seen these dudes do that I thought was pretty badass. I'm not going to say any names or what movie it was, but I'll just say that we had an actor leave in the middle of a movie after we'd done shot half the movie, and he left. And they just put somebody else in his spot and refilmed the whole movie and still did everything on time like they were supposed to originally.
I think I've
Like,
seen that.
that's pretty
Almost
badass to do
everything.
that.
almost everything.
Right.
we gave it a good college try.
You know, I think I've seen that resource being pulled from you guys, and it's like a natural thing. Like with the ne'er-do-wells, you had a similar situation.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you said, "Okay, guess what? Let's just remix this and
Sometimes you
do
don't
something
have-
different."
You don't have time to argue with the solution. Oftentimes, especially in those situations. So that's one thing from that situation that I learned that I'm going to try to implement. And in a way, I've kind of been doing it all along, but not to the degree that I need to. But in the future, whenever I have situations that are similar in a sense, I'm going to shoot a scene a couple of times with no
Close-ups.
clear, with the intention of using just to cover up if somebody, has to go or something like that.
Yeah.
Which we've lucked out because some of the stuff that we've already shot was in that vein, and
Yeah.
even right back in Bogman, but early on it was just like I wanted to get like some, distance shots of a scene.
And it helps that you can crop video too.
Yeah. Daniel actually gave me the best compliment that I think that he's ever given me on the Honey Hole shoot. He called me a sadistic genius.
It was brilliant. Yeah, it was. But it had a certain kind of like at the individual that had to endure. That they were game. So it's
Like, I'm sorry, bud, but you don't get to take a break for the next 4 days.
Yeah.
making
The show must go on,
Yeah.
so to speak.
making
You're gonna-
the compromises.
You're gonna eat in between takes now.
Like we write as close we can to what we think we can pull off with given the time and the money that we tried to put towards it. But oftentimes, it's a situation to where, like, entire scenes, he'll walk up to me, or I'll just walk up to him or something and be like, "Yeah, scene, but yeah, they're gone. That's gone.
Yeah, we're
just gonna do this, and that's enough," or or something.
Yeah.
We'll make calls like that, and very rarely is it much of a. It's usually like I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
or it's like a thank God.
Yeah.
I don't think me and Daniel have ever gotten upset with each other on set. I don't think we've ever argued about anything.
It's a great
I don't think
relationship.
that we've even disagreed. Like, even if we like,
No, it's just been about attacking the obstacle.
yeah,
Or the it's going after that. Like times
is that plan logical? Okay, then
working
let's do that.
With Toby Otero directed the Rake investigation. Working with him was fun for me because I got to learn. He's so organized in my mind, and his approach. He's from theater, so he has this just something I don't. That I'm like, wow. And when I can utilize that, and early on there were some ideas that I had that I was like, and I'd run them by him, and he'd be like, yeah, but usually it was in the middle of right before we were going to shoot that scene. And so I learned, I was like, okay, so about the next day I went and got with Richard, and we went ahead and worked out an idea. And we got the prop ready, and we got everything ready, just to where it was like the next time it came up, I was like, hey, we could do this, try this too. And he's like, yeah, but I don't know if we have time. And I was like, well, it's already done.
It's already ready.
The guy's already wearing
Let's
it
go.
already, and we're like, let's do it. And so he was like, all right, because he's all fundamental like that, to where he was all game. He's never negative on the idea. It was just about time, keeping the schedule, people waiting, which is valuable stuff. But times that early on, I was like, oh, we got to feed people? Like, oh,
Yeah,
that kind of stuff, So
Right.
the graduation, you have to learn so much stuff about something
so
that
quick.
has nothing really to do with what you're doing. You see, like there's, as far as just the business side of this stuff and the tax side and then the distribution side and there's so many angles, the social media side, there's so many things about it that you have to learn. And it's
stay on top of.
overwhelming
It's a lot.
because a lot of it's doesn't have anything to do with making movies.
Believe me, I can relate.
Yeah.
But that's everything, I guess, in a nutshell. But it's grateful. We're grateful to take the challenge, but often it's a monumental thing. But we'll have solutions like that, and I think we're getting better at that.
Oh yeah.
Because somewhere around the Rake investigation, we pumped in, and we were able to. We're always going to keep our style, but I told Mitch at times, and never that he was against it. It was always just about we don't have the time, dude's not in the
Right.
suit, makeup's going to take 3 hours, don't have enough blood, and I'm like,
I am that guy on set. I'm
Somebody's got to be.
always the guy on set. It's like, how long does this go? All right, well, let's.
But when we were able to pull it off and get that, just to show a glimpse of what it would be. You don't have to have a long shot of the blood spraying out of their chest or anything.
Right.
But our goal with this is each time, even from the beginning, just get a little better at this each time.
Yep.
And get a little better each time.
I
Get
think
a little better
when you
each time.
start to get to that scale of things, and then you realize, okay, I have to feed these guys. Okay. Everyone's time constraints. I mean, all this stuff. You start taking on a role that you've never thought you would take. It's not the glamour of, I'm just going to write a movie. Now
Yeah.
it's the
No,
painstaking.
We all do it a lot.
Yes.
We have such a great team now with people. I mean, David, Aaron, Zane, of course, Sharina, who am I missing here?
Greg,
Let's see, Aaron, Luke, Neo.
Is he the one?
She did fantastic
Yeah.
with the latest
Yep, he is the
stuff.
one.
Is the one?
Neo.
Yeah.
Neo is the one.
And some of these people are very new with just the recent film, but we have people too that helped us with Bogman that we still connect with. They're like, hey man, if I ever get a day to come out next to them when you're shooting, and they're always invited too. But
Yeah.
we have these connections. And,
Like Damon Adcock,
Oh, gosh,
like
yes,
he
yeah.
worked very heavily on Bogman, and he couldn't do Sea of Madness, but he came out and helped us do lighting on the rake, and you know he's lent
Did a
us
little bit of face
equipment.
music,
Yeah,
came out good.
So the
it's a community kind of thing, and it's
whoever's available at the time, come on out. If you're not
It's a next
available,
man
no
up
worries. I'll
kind of
hit you up
thing.
next time.
This happened recently. Luke, our sound guy, who's amazing, he had to leave to get back home. We still had a day or so of shooting, and Dakota stepped right in, which was funny because they had actually trained for this. Dakota had went down, and unbeknownst to me, really, he went down to hang out with Luke down there in
Just so he could get
Lafayette.
No, Alexandria.
And
Just
just
to
so he
get-
could get trained up. And so when it happened at the set, I was like, okay, be safe. I was like, what's the plan? And he's like, well, I got the cover. I was like, and then when I found out, I'm like, oh wow, like
Nice.
You
it's
already
just
know.
it's really And I mean, like I said,
I still haven't gotten used to walking around, sitting there, everybody going, "Hey, boss, what's up, boss? What you need, boss?"
yeah,
I'm
that
not,
gets kind of
I'm not used to that yet, because I'm also usually like holding a beer and like, "Oh yeah, I am the boss."
what makes Ouachitalk a great place for films?
Ouachita? There's so many different aspects in this area. A lot of talented people. And most of them are musicians. There's a lot of musicians in our crew.
yeah.
And there's a lot of people, a lot of artistic people in this area, and that's what I love about this area. That's why I always end up coming back here.
That's right.
Is there a favorite place that y'all? I know y'all have done Lee's of LeCompte.
Oh yeah. I go there for the breakfast anyway.
Me too.
Oh, man, what a
great
breakfast.
Love
Me
that
too.
place.
Is there a favorite place y'all like to film? though?
Richard's Land.
Richard's Land so far has been our go-to, just simply because of Richard, and he owns it and access, and it's our sandbox that we play in.
It's our boggy wood.
Yeah,
Out in the woods and
there's so
ears.
many aspects of his land that can be represented differently as far as that. So we've been able to utilize that really well.
That's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna say about what answering your question is. Around here, there are so many places that can double as other places. You can. Yeah, you got a swamp, but then you've also got fields. You can go to a rock quarry. You can go in downtown. You can go into a little city area. You can go to an area that looks like New Orleans. There's just
capture that if you needed to. Paris, especially Monroe, West Monroe area, but I drive around a lot with my work, and what got me into this kind of, I guess, was along with my brother just giving me a camera to use for a friend's wedding that I had to shoot. I ended up doing long exposure landscape photography at night and stuff. So I'd take stuff, and just it was relaxing to me, and it was a different kind of photography. I don't consider myself a really good people photographer, but I love trees and buildings and bridges and things like that, and the long exposure aspect of it. I really got into that and just dove into it and played around. And by doing that, though, I saw locations, places, and I would see wide shots in my head of what would be later, maybe not the exact same place, but a scene was shot that was manifested or started from that initial finding that building or that place. And some of it actually ended up happening, to where, we always wanted to shoot something behind La Bella there.
Yeah.
We
In
would
the
always
alley?
sit out in the alley
Alleyway?
and come out and listen to bands or do karaoke at the bar there.
Right.
And be sitting out there and be like, man, we really
And
love
I
to shoot
actually
a scene
played
here.
the venue owner of La Bella in the movie.
And it just ended up being shot there. And actually, there are several places that I kind of told him about a month ago. I was like, I need to take you around and show you a couple of places that I found in Monroe, West Monroe area that I want to shoot scenes in, but we would have to. We could do it guerrilla style the way we do it.
outlaw
But
style.
I would probably, just because I've talked with him before and on a brief thing to where the mayor said he would help me with some permits if we needed to.
Nice.
One of the places, I think I'd talk to you about it, but Old Forsyth Park area,
Yeah.
the water treatment
The
center.
maze.
Dude,
The
I was
maze.
actually about
The
to
maze.
suggest the
Yeah.
maze because
In
what
that
a
area,
cool spot. to-
Exactly.
there's especially a couple of scenes in the rules that apply to the abduction. That's the Alien movie, and there's scenes in there that I think we're at Area 51 or something like that.
Yeah.
That I think we could incorporate with that building structure in the background and stuff.
Yep.
And like for Honey Hole, for instance, I wrote that with certain places in mind, you know, and that's how this works. You know, you don't always get all of it. You know,
Yeah.
You write it. That's one edit. By the time you shoot it, it's probably a totally different
Complete
thing in
different,
some ways.
Yeah.
But going in the Union Parish area, coming back over Darbone right there.
Oh yeah. Very swampy.
Yeah, where the
I like
little
it.
inlet, the road, boat ramp that runs out.
Yeah,
You know,
right past the wildlife and
I wanted to
fisheries.
do a lot of the fishing stuff, and I still might be able to take David out there and get some B-roll of him fishing and stuff, and doing a little cuts and stuff like that for Honey Hole. But that's one of the places I really love in those areas.
And then one day I just give him a call and his whole plans.
Well, no, Moon
just
Lake
like-
was actually somewhere I had thought about too when I went
Yeah.
out there before and saw. And so when it actually fell into place, because you write this stuff and you have an idea, but it's almost like throwing darts, I've learned.
Yeah.
Because you'll throw your dart, and then by the time you think you landed something, you know, and then by the time you walk up to pull the dart out of the wall to
not
go
exactly
back,
where-
it's somewhere else that you're like, oh, that's more points. Or
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
better, you know,
That's
or
even
something
better
like
than
that.
what I had.
Because you know,
That's what the Moon Lake ended up being.
in my day job, I do a lot. I spend a lot of time in a TV station vehicle as well, doing my morning reports.
Yeah.
And they sent me out to Moon Lake Marina, and I've been out to Moon Lake Marina hundreds of times before that, you know. But you know, I sit in a car just by myself for almost 3 hours a day. And that's where a lot of all these like ideas and plans and things come from, is just sitting there by myself. And I don't want to just be in my phone the whole time, so I'll just be sitting there thinking and writing lists and doing stuff. And I was out there doing a report on Moon Lake Marina, and I'm just sitting there reading the Honey Hole script because we were getting ready to film. And I'm like looking around like,
Another thing about locations
This could work.
is a lot of times we'll have 2 or 3 locations in mind, and we'll go check them out. And a lot of people think that when you do movies that you're rich and you got all this money.
yeah,
You know, and
they're
so-
gonna pay. We're gonna
So
pay
they
them.
want like, okay, $10,000 and you can shoot your movie here. Okay.
I guess we're not shooting anything here.
Yeah, that's what I got you to hear, man.
Got some monopoly money.
So let's talk gear for a moment. Is there one piece of gear that you rely on, or is it a whole array?
A camera.
Yeah,
Early on, we had
whatever we had lying around.
I'd had a Sony A7 that I bought. It was an A7 II that I bought. Really primarily for trying to shoot unknown strangers with.
Got you.
And
And
I
I-
was already into photography and stuff before that.
And I had a Nikon,
Yeah.
and
There's a lot of
Nikon.
conversion involved, right? I
It was
mean,
with whatever you have. Because, see, a
Yeah.
lot of people, in my mind, I'm not judging people or anything. It's just observations and stuff. But, like, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he's a writer, and he was like, you know, he wrote this script that he's putting into or has put into a couple of script competitions.
yeah, screenplay
And-
competitions.
And then he was talking to me about editing stuff, and I'm not a gearhead.
We're not gearheads at all. None
Yeah.
of us
I know,
are.
I know my areas of
Yeah.
stuff, you know, but I don't pay attention so much to the thing, because in a nutshell, I think a lot of time I know people that are like that, and I learn from them.
Right.
And I leave that to them to show me, and hopefully they learn something from me in the process, and that same kind of, you know, collaboration thing. But I do know, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
All right, the best way I can put it in terms that you'd understand is if you're learning a song, right? There are people that they can get online and they can read the tabs and they can do all the things. But at the end of the day, I don't want to do that. Just show me how to play the song. Just play it. Let me look at you, and I'll figure it out. Okay, I don't
Yeah.
need the gear. I don't need just show it to me, and I'll do it.
My answer to anybody's questions about like what's the best camera is the one in your hand right now. Go
Yes,
shoot.
go shoot.
It's like me. I've
Just
written
like you
over
guys are
500
doing with
songs,
this. I
and,
love this.
Don't even know
And
know
Simplicity.
Yeah, it's like it's what
Just
you
listen,
have and
play
it's
something.
what you do.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll write
that's-
something to
It's
it.
great.
That's how I've always done it.
So, I mean, my approach to that, you know, as a musician or what have you, or even as making this stuff that we do now, this digital media, you know, I agree with you. It's what's in your hand.
Yeah.
You have to be compelling. You have to take what you have and
Yeah.
think, how can I
Tell my narrative.
go farther with this piece
Yeah,
of
what-
equipment? It's like when I play a bass and I'm looking for a particular tone. It's like oftentimes I can play the most amazing setup in the world. It's here.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's 100% here.
And if somebody came up later and asked you how, you'd be like, well, this finger did this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and, well, I've also
How'd you do that with my
Somebody's picked
hands?
up my bass and a skilled person and tried to do what I've done, and they're like, it didn't sound the same, and I'm like, it's me. Because I mean, and I'm not saying that egotistically.
Yeah, yeah.
If I picked up a camera and I tried
Well,
to
come
make
out
my
sometime,
own
pick up a
movie,
camera.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be this.
No, but it would
What-
be your own.
Right,
And that's
which-
what I love, really. Is
Exactly.
That's what I'm learning here lately, working with Aaron Simone and stuff. And as much as he's come with being a cinematographer now,
Yeah,
he is.
right.
And it's a joy because, like, to answer your question, I guess, and we started off Sony A7, which is a very good camera for video and photos and stuff. So we started off basically with two of those. I had an Olympus for a while. We had a Nikon. At one time, we had several people with Canons that worked with us on Bogman. And now that was essentially my gear. I bought another A7 shortly after to do Sea of Madness. It was a 4, so I still have those. And those have made us through up until Honey Hole. And so those were used as well with Shot Talk Studios, the gear from Sam McGee. He mainly shoots on Canon, and Adam Harper, who shoots on Black Magic, as well as David Hanks shoots on Black Magic. And so, and each one of us have a little bit of lights. You know, a little bit, Sam has more, but he's a crafter, and so that's the way that works. But learning so much from him and getting to aspects of it, it put me on the path of you have to pay attention to the gear, but don't be a slave to it, in my
Yes,
opinion, because what we're doing, like me and Mitch both agree in a lot of ways, like 4K is beautiful, but if like for short films, most people do short films 12 to 20 minutes, something like that, and yeah, you might have complete control of something and not get a speck of dust on your sensor through the whole process of shooting something like that. You go running around in the woods with a guy in a carpet suit, and
Mud's
you're
everywhere.
shooting everywhere, and fake blood's getting sprayed on people, and the dirt and everything. And you have basically 22 non-consecutive days of doing that on weekends, going out each weekend, shooting this next part of the Bigfoot, and it gets dirty real quick, even if you clean them. And so we were shooting, and then file size, you have to deal with that. That's something even with music, you have to deal with it. So 1080 to me is perfect, and I don't want now. I have graduated in some ways, but I'm still holding my line because it's a bigger file size, but it's still 1080. So now we just started shooting Honey Hole. We just shot the principal photography for that, and outside of the Black Magics that were used, we shot it on a Canon C300, which is a cinema camera, and it's beautiful. It's that's my baby now, and
And
still
we're going to
love Sony.
Netflix.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully,
Yeah, man.
yes.
But it's I'm learning with it, and I only had it for about a week before we started shooting Honey Hole, so bear
And
with
then
me.
we found
Trial
like,
by fire.
and here's the big thing, like the difference. Whenever we shot like Sea of Madness, we had one 3 terabyte hard drive
Oh yeah,
that everything got put on, and it all
and
got
that's a miracle in itself too.
because we were using mainly the Sonys and the stuff like that. The Honey Hole, where were we at? And we're not even done.
In 7 days, we shot 7.2 terabytes worth.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's two Black Magics.
Do you
and a
have the
Canon
anxiety of,
C302.
oh man, did I just delete that?
Oh yeah.
And-
Oh,
That's
God,
happened.
did I
That's
lose
happened.
that?
Yeah, that has happened.
I have the permanent I forgot my wallet feeling
Oh,
in my
dude,
head. Like
forgetting
all the
something
time.
all
Yeah.
the time.
But
Because
that's our
that
deal,
that
really,
does
with gear.
inevitably always happen.
I try to keep up with the gear and even with the sound stuff. Now our sound gear, Luke's stuff is really excellent, as well as Zane's, and all the people we collaborate with, Adam, David, Sam, and Chase. They all are top notch in their field and just really good with their gear and stuff, and very giving with sharing, access to sometimes, and so. We've had that pretty much covered. Lights has always been a problem, and it's like I'm sure you always got your eye on that one guitar or that one mic stand or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So the same kind of thing. I'll be like, I should order those C stands.
I can make do with what I have.
We
It's
can
been good
always
so far.
duct tape another light onto a microphone stand if we have to.
Zip ties.
Speaking
brother.
of that, I
Zip
just
ties.
watched Jack White on a football halftime show the other day playing with this really old guitar. It was beat the hell up. Like, I mean, hey, if that's your tool,
Let me tell
use
you,
it.
I saw that man in Shreveport live. Amazing.
Yeah, he is.
What a
I saw him in
show,
Memphis in May at
dude.
16. He was amazing. I
God,
walked
what a
out of that.
show,
Like I was
bro.
sick, like fever, and I was still like.
I know the more shows I go to, me and my wife are like, we know we're old. We're like yawning. It's time to go. Like, how long is the drive back?
Oh, I had
None of
one.
them staying.
I had
Have
one of
one
those
drink.
bad realizations
One.
whenever me and Heath Gorman went to go see the Chariot live, and it was like the Chariot was breaking up, and this was their final tour, and this was the second or third to last show of the tour, and so we knew it was going to be a bonkers show because the Chariot, even whenever they weren't breaking up, every show you went to, it just looked like someone dropped a beehive in the crowd,
Just
like.
insane, yeah.
And so me and Heath, we're hardcore guys from back in the day. We've at the metal shows, we've been in the moshes and the slam dancing and the whatever. We've done all that stuff before. But that last time we went to go see the Chariot and we saw how intense the crowd was going to be, we were like,
Dial it back.
so let's climb up into the lights
yeah,
and
let's go
let's
up there.
let's just look down. Like I'm a little bit too old to be
Yeah.
crowd surfing and getting my face kicked in.
I appreciate the old dudes from the Muppets so much more now. They're in the balcony and just watch.
Yeah. So, how can local people get involved with the productions?
Hitting us up.
Yeah, hitting us up or either just watching our many pages we have. On there.
Open Heart, Facebook,
Yeah,
Instagram.
each of the movies has a Facebook and
Right.
social media.
Yeah, we have
The
4
Open
movie
Heart does.
pages, and then we have the Open Heart page, and we have the Open Heart TikTok, then we have our YouTube channel, which shows all our trailers, and because of copyright stuff, we can't put the movies on our YouTube.
Right.
It has to
We're
go
kind of
through
slow rolling working on
Right.
the website, and we're out and about too and stuff, and I mean,
We're very approachable.
we've been fortunate enough to work it with the LDCC, Louisiana Delta Community College, at their cons the last couple of years, and they've been really gracious and helpful for us. And
We've actually
Julie,
put
of
them in
course,
movies too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Julie was
So-
in Face the Music, and we've had several other people. come.
So it's like a call to arms. Landowners.
Misfit Toys. Come on.
There's so many
We have an island for
involved.
you.
They're approachable.
Hey, if you got an
Many
awesome
different-
place for us to shoot a movie, let us know.
Let's do it.
There's so many different avenues that come into, and they're not all absolutely necessary, but when the machine is rolling well and stuff, you need all these bases covered, and a lot of them we facilitate the best we can, but we have professionals out there that have come on in their own capacity and stuff that like, let me take this over. Brad Smalling, not just a Bigfoot actor of many Bigfoots, but also
weapons master.
a safety man,
Larry Schultz. He
Larry
came
Schultz.
to act and then ended up working on the art
art
department.
department.
Yeah, that's
solving
actually
a
how
lot
I
of
got involved
problems.
with Open Heart.
Yeah.
Through Larry Schultz, my friend for 20-something years now.
It was
That's cool.
yeah, he's amazing.
He's actually a SAG actor and part of big productions in Hawaii. That's where he lives at.
He conversates only in memes.
Yep.
And he will be back soon.
He's going to be a recurring
character.
character in the rest of the series. Agent Carter.
That's
So-
fun to me. Is what at this point right now, it's like when you first start this, because I've always written stories and narratives and stuff, and for a long time I thought maybe if focus on books and things like that, short stories. But now it's so refreshing to be able, because like ideas are not, you just got to put them together, but
Yes.
and you got to be compassionate with it to know that it might not be exactly what you wrote. You know, it might not be exactly how. So we're not too gracious or too fussy about
Yeah.
scenes. We have a scene that we did with the really wonderful and great William Instone, and he came in to play Jack the Gin and Honey Hole coming up, and so much great stuff. We learned from him in a process, but he gave so much. But there were certain things that, because of personal lives, the hardest thing to do really with this is to hold everybody to hold their personal life
Survive long enough in the
Until we can
personal
shoot
life
again.
to
Stay
shoot
married.
again.
But
Yeah,
he
'cause
made some changes.
You
with
can only take
dialogue.
off work so much.
William had asked, he was like, "Can I make some changes with some of this dialogue and stuff?" Certainly. I just need you to make sure you hit this point, say this at some point,
Right.
and hit this and get your own vibe there. And to see what he was able to do with that in the time that we had, the delivery and the chill in his voice, and even Jason Kirkpatrick in the scene that I'm referring
Where
to.
he cried at the same word
It's
every
a-
time.
It's a trembling thing.
That's powerful.
Every take, he would get worked up, and he would, at the same word, that tear would fall down. And this wasn't like Visine
No,
or
it
anything. He
wasn't
was,
forced.
Clear eyes. or
he was
whatever,
just
yeah.
getting so worked up. He would just make himself cry every
So
take.
it's like here's the vision as a standard, but put your humanity in.
It's
Be
it's
yourself.
It's like old school wrestling promos. Like
Yeah.
when the promoter would come up to the wrestler and go, "Okay, you're talking about this match at this show on this date.
Right.
This is the person that you don't like. This is why you don't like them. Now go out there and make it sound believable."
Yeah.
And
You know,
to be, and I know he knows this feeling, and we've talked about it before, but to see a character that you wrote, and not just, you know, you put thought into the words, but then you realize that thought was getting in the way of what this is, and it takes on a new thing. Then he's still the same character, but it's like, oh, so it's like a, you know, animated version or print version, animated version, live action version.
Right.
They're all kind of. And so when you make those jumps and stuff as a writer and stuff, to me it's a joyous. I enjoy
Sure.
it because I'm like, wow, I never even thought that was possible with that. You know, the nature, the feel that he got. And then immediately I go to the technical side of things to where it's like, did I capture that well?
Right.
Because
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
amazing, you know. But I'm getting better at that as well. So, you know.
So the rumor is
We all are.
at some point the Bog universe is going to transpose into comic books, possibly.
We're in the works talking to
Was it
a
Cicada?
very talented, Cicada Comics, a very talented artist and buddy of mine from many years, Rick Sykes. He just switched over publishers. He has a Humbaba, I think is what Humbaba is his character name. He has
Bless
a
you.
graphic novel that's out now that's really cool. And his artwork fits with us really well already. Just by looking at his artwork, it's very Bogman like.
well, it's very early 2000s Swamp Thing.
yeah.
And and I really
I love
like
Swamp
that. I love Swamp Thing's my
He's working
favorite.
on stuff.
Yes.
And once he
Favorite
gets it
DC.
worked out with his publisher and for their own, then we'll do like another thing. But we have the books as well. Jonathan Tripp is doing novelizations of the movies, which is really interesting because he wrote Sea of Madness, the book,
Which
and we made a
inspired the
movie.
movie.
And then
that
he
made-
then
and
he
then
rewrote the book
the
to base it on the
novelization
movie.
of the book that he wrote. So, we
So he
always
has an
joke
original
around with
version
that.
and our version.
That's so cool.
He's a phenomenal writer and so really quick and effective and with
So
his-
much so that whenever I get ready to write the Mothman script, I'm going to be like, "Hey, bro, I need you to come and help me because I want to do your thing."
So, what medium are you not going to venture into here? I mean, there's
We'll do a kids'
no holds
cartoon if we
barred,
can.
right?
You know?
I mean, I want to do a video game. I want to do action figures.
How
I
about
want to do
animation?
I want to do
That would be
animation.
so
I
cool.
mean, like, I want to do it all. I want to do it all. I want to do everything. I want the BCU to be like the independent Star Wars type thing. You know, like I want.
Sometimes you feel like when you're doing something, especially something that's like like even if you're growing a garden or something that that takes time process, you're
Yes.
always wanting the relief or the satisfaction of something. And I think the way in which we're doing these, especially now as far as meeting, we're doing on basis probably about 2 movies a year.
That's good.
And probably even more than that moving forward, but that's what we're going to try to hit. Shoot in the spring, shoot in the fall, post in between, and deliver. So once we get those out there and stuff, it just takes. I don't know about y'all, but like if I've told him this too before, and James as well, is like I love when I hear a band and I hear something that I've never heard from them before, and I find out that it was like from before the album that I know. So when I'm like, oh, this is them, they're like, yeah, this is like 2 albums before that. Though I was like, I didn't even know that existed. And I love that just for that split second, you're like, something new that I don't know.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people at some point are going to see a lot of our movies in that fashion, and what it's going to do, the way we're making them, is by the time a lot of these I think really kick, or kick in, we're going to be on something else that is by that time still just as difficult but still easier to us. So we're be moving ahead kind of thing. So we have some other plans.
So we need to get together and write an album about the bog.
Oh yeah, that's on the.
That's something we do try to do too. Is
Yeah,
we
for
try to
sure.
use a lot of really local music in our films and stuff.
So which film are you going to kill me and Donnie in?
Dude, I'm ready to be killed.
gotta-
I mean, you're about
gotta
to
see
go.
you.
You're about to go to Mexico, so I figure maybe El Chupacabra would kill you in that
Perfect. So
one.
by the time we film that, get ready to die.
Yes, I'm ready.
But I mean,
So is there anything else that you guys wanted to look at that camera and say to our viewers?
2 things. One, just get up and go do it.
Yeah.
Just get up and go do it.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Whatever it is, just get up and go.
Do it.
Go create, go do it, and never give up. And secondly, go check out all of our stuff on
It
Tubi,
helps,
Amazon
really.
Prime, YouTube, Folsom, CW app, Fandango. That's the best way you can support us, is just go watch.
Yeah. Because a lot of that stuff with what Open Heart is a collective of
Dreamers.
dreamers and
right.
people that are, just like getting to work with you guys in this capacity. And I know my future self is looking back and laughing because I know we will kill you one day.
Yes.
It's not that it's not a matter of like, oh, will he ever come, play a role and let us kill him or something. It's already done.
We're dead, bro.
Yeah.
Nice.
So until next time,
Keep the dream alive.
Merry
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.